Yeah, so I want to hear about a bit about you. What type of food do you like? Is waffles like your favorite food? Is that when you decided,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to start a waffle truck? No. Do you even like
No, actually,
waffles?
not at all.
When was the last time you
No,
had
I
a
love
waffle?
waffles. Say that. When's the last time I had a
Yeah.
waffle?
Yeah.
Probably a couple weeks ago.
What is up, you guys? We are back with another beautiful episode on a beautiful night for me, and it's Salman. Is it a beautiful day over there? I don't know. I don't know how the weather is. Tell us.
Yes, it's 3 p.m. I just had breakfast, just the
Yeah,
usual.
the usual. And today we have a very
But
very special guest
Very
with
good.
us. His name is Sanif, and he goes by Sal in the restaurant world because we all have to Americanize our brown names because that's like a thing now. So welcome. So he's a restaurateur. Is that what we call you a restaurateur or yeah we call you a
something
Yeah,
like
restaurateur,
that, a
and he
yeah,
runs
restaurateur.
that's
and
it.
he runs like this place called Waffles etc.
Mess waffles.
Mess Waffles, etc. And it's on a college campus. And yeah, Sanif is going to tell us how he got into this business and what he does. And yeah, take it away, Sanif. Give us your introduction.
Yeah. Hey everyone. So I started. I went to Texas A&M, and I'm actually still going to Texas A&M as well as a graduate
Yeah.
student. And let's see, I graduated in 2011 with my undergraduate and worked for corporate in Houston, which is about an hour and a half away, and just turns out it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Um, it was fun, you know, I learned a lot of things, but then just realized I really wanted to do my own thing.
Mm.
And in that time, I found a passion for like cooking and um, just service industry in general. So I decided to go into um, the food truck industry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it first started. So while I was still running the restaurant, I was also like working on building out a food truck, building out recipes, and I was doing everything from scratch. Everything is my own branding, my own
Yeah.
recipes, and my own social media, and it's still actually very much like that. Um, and it's nice that I have like a creative arts background as well that kind of helped me um, like solidify
Mm-hmm.
my brand, I guess it's starting out with. But I opened the food truck oddly enough on Valentine's Day in
Oh,
2014.
that's
Huh.
nice.
So
I love the date, man.
it wasn't like planned that way. I really wanted to open in January, but things just weren't ready on time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to open on a Friday, like kind of like a weekend opening thing. So that just happened to be the Friday back in 2014,
Mm.
on the weekend that I was ready to open. So we set it all up and we had like did a whole opening and everything. It was nice. It was very stressful at first, and then I just spent a lot of time finding locations for us to
Yeah.
park. We don't like travel. We just kind of stay at a spot for a
Mm-hmm.
day. So we
Yeah.
picked like a community college and a bank and some other
Yeah.
places that would let us come and park there for free. And then eventually we got a contract with the university, which is
Mm.
literally right across the street. But being on campus kind of makes a huge difference.
Of course.
So that's really what propelled
There's
our
a lot of
brand and got.
there's a lot of foot
Yeah,
traffic.
what's up?
There's a lot of foot traffic on campus, right? So I'm sure that helps you a lot
Oh,
in growth.
oh yeah, yeah. We grew quite a bit, but
Mm.
unfortunately, we
Mm.
also became like the most popular food truck on campus. There ended up being like 5 food trucks. There was
Wow.
actually there was oddly enough there was an Indian food one, like a pita one, us, a Philly cheesesteak one, a barbecue one, and then
Mm.
kind of what was the other one? Just like a all American kind of
Yeah, yeah,
cuisine and Asian cuisine, that one.
yeah,
And yeah, we became very popular. We always and really grateful too. And eventually, that was only a 2-year contract. So as the contract came towards an end, I wasn't
yeah,
really sure where that would go. And at that point, I also started my master's at Texas A&M. So I
yeah.
had a really tough decision to make. Do I focus on trying to go into another field, which is I
Yeah.
could have very easily done with my master's, or do I continue what I've worked so hard for? And at that time, it had probably been about 3 years into owning and running the food truck. So, and after that 2 year contract, I started building out my own location right across campus at this really beautiful spot. Very probably one of the more developed areas in town. So it's a nice area called Century Square. They have several restaurants, like 2 hotels, an apartment complex, a bunch of office space. So
That's
it kind of
nice.
it feels like a mini city almost. So being in that location really helped us out as well.
It's really
Um,
cool.
and I've had yeah, and I've had the restaurant open. So we opened in October 2018. So it's been like a little more than a year and a half now. Yeah.
That is a really cool origin story and how you started. So when you were serving food on college campus and all that, of course, that really led to a boost in growth and all that. How many menu items were you serving? Like, I'm just curious. Did you have like a lot of menu items that you serve, or was it like only a few
Yeah,
select
good
few, or was
question.
it only a select few niche items? Because I'm always interested in knowing.
Yeah. So good question. So when I first started, I had so this is pre being on campus. In the food truck, I used to sell 10 items. 10 items was very difficult because it's always something to prep, and we weren't actually that busy. The first year and a half was very rough, and there were many times I almost felt like, hey, could I just like throw in the towel? Like this is just not going the way I thought it would go, and maybe College Station isn't meant for food trucks. And actually, it turns out, yeah, College Station is not a good. The city I'm in is not a good food truck town. There's so many. There's probably 20 food trucks since 2014 that have started and closed down.
Oh
Like
wow.
so many have started and
Wow.
closed down, and like we just managed to keep pushing through it. And
Wow.
I guess it also helped that I am from College Station, so I have my family here. So I kind of got a lot of like support. Just yeah, like a lot of support. In the beginning, my brother was one of my first employees. Not
Yeah.
really an employee, but
Yeah.
he'd help me out
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while. My mom helped me out, so that
Yeah.
having that really helped. But yeah, we had a lot of items on the menu at first, 10, and then when we went into on campus, that's when I kind of was like, what is like gonna be the item we're doing the best, or what's gonna be the quickest to make, and also like kind of make sure like the customers are satisfied. A lot of these kids are coming between classes. They might only have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They need to,
Yeah.
and sometimes our line can be 45 minutes long. Believe it, like what was great was we would have a line before we ever even opened up almost every day.
Wow, that's
So like yeah, so sometimes we'd be parking and there's already people sitting on the benches like waiting for us.
No
And it takes about yeah, which is a good feeling. I miss
of
those
course.
days. But it's in about 30 minutes to set up our waffle makers. We have to get everything turned on.
Yeah.
And then the waffle irons take about 20-25 minutes to heat up. And then so when we went from not being on campus, we had 10 items. When we got onto campus, we only had like I could count on my I think four items. So we went from 10 to 4, maybe like actually it was 1, 2, 3 sort of.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd say 4
Yeah,
items. And
And what was-
some like limited time stuff like monthly.
And what was your like most popular item? Like the thing that flew off the shelves? Like people just came back for that one item. What
Yeah.
was the most popular item? Like one that sticks out. What was it?
Was it the waffles?
The one, yeah, it's the chicken and waffles. That's what we're still like
Okay.
extremely known for. Yeah, it's something like our restaurant is very much known for that. But the item that was the most, like the item that sold out the quickest was our mac and cheese, because we are limited in how much we can actually make in the food truck. In the restaurant, we
Yeah.
don't sell out. We can keep making new batches, but
Yeah.
our machine could only make about 4 pounds at a time. And we also, when in a food truck, you deal with resources. Like you don't have unlimited power, you don't have unlimited water,
Yeah.
you don't have unlimited refrigeration.
Yeah.
So you kind of like know that, okay, we won't run out of chicken, we won't run out of waffles, so at least we can do chicken and waffles nonstop. we might run out of sauces. We might run out of like like we could run out of water bottles and soda and things like that. But the things we
Yeah.
can control, like we try to keep it going.
That is really cool. This has been like super informational, and now like if I ever want to start a food truck, I feel
Yeah.
like half the information I need I just got from right here. But that's crazy. But
Exactly. 10
I
minutes
also want to
in,
hear a
listen
bit
to this.
about you.
Anybody who's starting a podcast, I
Um,
mean, a food truck, listen to this.
yeah, so I want to hear about a bit about you. What type of food do you like? Is waffles like your favorite food? Is that why you decided,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to start a waffle truck? No, do you even like
No,
waffles?
actually, not at all.
When was the last time you
No,
had
I
a
love
waffle?
waffles. No, say that. When's the last time I had a waffle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a couple weeks ago. I don't really eat my own food anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
And so only because I've tested it so many times.
That's
and
fair.
like every time we try something new. So we do a new dessert waffle every month. So I guess at the beginning of every month or at the end of every month, we work on a new waffle. So that's when I eat waffles.
Wait, that sounds
Besides
amazing.
that, yeah, those are really good. This month is the bananas Foster's, so it's like a caramelized banana. I don't know what it will be next month, but we try to keep it really fun every time.
That is really
Let's
cool.
see.
I'm
But I really like breakfast foods, but I'm not picky. I eat everything. I like trying everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. I'm a huge fan of not just like I'm a huge fan of dessert, and then like brunch food, especially in Texas, it's very much breakfast that's basically dessert. Like the French toast, the waffles, there's always like ice cream, whipped cream, and all these other things on top. And I know I was living in Houston for like last summer, and I know I'd like a lot of weekends on Sunday, I'd wait an hour to get into a nice brunch place just to have the most unhealthy breakfast you could ever imagine. And it's insanely good. And I'm looking at these
Yeah,
pictures
dude,
on your
it's fucking
website of
insane,
different
man.
waffles, and dude, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure like my microphone can pick up my stomach like growling right now.
Oh
Like
my.
I,
Yeah, dude,
it's 4 p.m. I had breakfast like
it's
half an
pretty
hour
good.
ago, and I'm already hungry again because like, dude, this food looks really good. It is just insane.
Yeah.
So
Thank
what's
you. Yeah. No, what's up?
yeah? So I want to know what's your like go-to food for yourself. Since I can get why someone who makes waffles or has a waffle restaurant doesn't want to have too many of those, but what's something that you love eating that you will never get tired of?
That's so tough. I think I like to keep things very simple. So I think just like a potato and egg taco or just scrambled eggs
Yeah.
or something like I could never get tired of. Like I said, I love breakfast foods. But most of the time, I like when I eat personally at the restaurant, I just make grilled chicken for myself only because I've been around fried food for the last like 6 years. So
Yeah.
it's the one thing that I kind of try to stay away from
Yeah.
for my own health reasons.
Yeah. Dude, I'm looking at your menu right now. And holy crap. If there was something that you could just like, say what like if you had to put visuals to American food, just look at Mess Waffles menu, guys. Like straight up, you've got massive burgers, you've got fried chicken on top of waffles with like I think that's maple syrup. Is that what it is? Maple syrup?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Holy, dude, this food looks phenomenal. Is this all your own
It does look
in-house
amazing.
in-house photography or like what? Like what's the scene over here?
Yeah, so I also do most of our photography. We actually had luckily enough, there was during the pandemic, a local photographer reached out only because he wanted to work on his own portfolio.
Yeah.
So he asked like if he could come take photos for free. So there's like I want to say maybe only like 4 or 5 are his, but all the others are taken by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is super cool. And I have another
Dude.
question because I've also been looking at your menu this entire time, if it isn't obvious. And you've got a mac and cheese burger on here, and that burger is listed as seasonal. And I just want to know what part of like a mac and cheese burger with like bread, macaroni, cheese, and like some meat. What part of that is seasonal?
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
I think seasonal is not the right word. I think it's more of just like a limited time only thing. It's
Okay.
been on our menu for several years now. Um,
Wow.
and then but I think we got to a place where we especially with like the beef prices going up quite a bit and we're
Yeah.
a chicken place that it didn't always make sense to keep beef around.
Yeah.
That's the honest answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we will probably bring it back like in the fall when like football games start back up, and that's
Yeah.
when I guess more people are in the more burger mood, I guess, or
That makes
late
Of
sense.
summer
course.
or whenever
Also,
things get better around here. Yeah.
also, I'm a branding guy, right? Like, I love branding. I do branding. I run that shit. Like, I noticed your logo is really really interesting. It's really minimalistic. It really, I'm pretty sure it fits well into most applications, like small, like tiny applications or large scale applications. It's really smart. Did you design the logo yourself, or how
I
did you come
did,
up with
yeah,
that
yeah.
logo? How did you? So you're into design as well. So tell us a bit about that.
Hmm. I've just kept it
Yeah.
simple. Like when I was coming up with like names for my business, I knew it had to be like less than 5 letters,
Exactly.
something that's very small, like just rolls off the tongue,
Mm.
something that's like kind of like sticks in your brain a little bit.
Mm.
So like the main logo is just mess, and then waffles, etc. is like what like I guess describes it. We're selling waffles
Waffles,
and
etc.
etc. I guess. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes
But
sense.
so then I guess we have like two sub logos. So I have a normal like mess one, and then
Yeah.
I created like the like the shadowy looking one for just t-shirts and additional branding stuff.
I'll be honest
I
with you.
just want to point out
I'll be honest with you
the
that
name. Okay,
Saman, you take it away. You take it away. You take it away. I'll comment on that later.
sorry guys, but yeah, I just want to point out the name of your restaurant is Mess, but you have like such a neat, tidy logo, and I just love the irony there. Like I don't know if that
Yeah.
was intentional, but it's super cool.
Yeah, thank you.
What I
I don't even, yeah.
what I
I
like
don't know
about
what
the
to say with that.
logo,
I think it,
what I like about the
yeah,
logo,
what's up?
we're just gonna like comment on your logo and how great it is. What I love about your logo is that it fits in well with your entire branding and your entire image. Like I like the whole rustic feel to it. Like it's really really cool. Like the whole I like the fact that you added the shadow and the 3D element into it. It makes it look like really casual, really fun, really really nice and lighthearted, which is I think what your restaurant is essentially. So yeah, that's what I really like about it.
Exactly, yeah.
To give you a bit of context on it, Saad spent the last week working on for his art portfolio. He designed like this whole branding like kit for a Japanese tea house. So he's been coming up with like the logo, the menu. He made like a fancy seal. He's been doing all this work, so I can see how like his brain's still in that restaurant branding mode where he's just like constantly going
Yeah.
at it. But yeah, I think like graphic design is
Yeah,
something
Makes
that
man.
sense,
me and
yeah.
him talk a lot about. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
like honestly, the thing I most wanted to know, like this entire podcast, I was waiting to ask you, why is this like mac and cheeseburger seasonal? And now that I know, like, I feel a lot better. I'm a lot more relaxed now. I can sleep well at night. And I have like
Exactly.
let's move from like that lighthearted question to something a bit more professional. So you said
Okay.
you started your masters. That's what you're working on, and I want to know. And I think you touched on this a bit, but do you have an exit plan? How do you plan on moving ahead with your
Yeah.
career? Do you plan on switching over to the restaurant
No,
or?
not at all. Yeah, no, the restaurant is my career for at least for the next 10, 15 years.
Mm.
I can say that with full certainty.
Mm.
The masters started when I wasn't sure, but I had invested so much time into it. And I guess it's also somewhat of an achievement to say that I have a master's, even, and it's something that I'm very interested in. My undergraduate was in supply chain management, and it's something that
Yeah.
I will never use in my life, and I really wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
But like with any college student, you very much struggle with like, what am I doing? And you kind of go back and forth for years until you've just sort of settled for something, and then so
Yeah.
visualization was something I didn't settle for. It's something I actually really wanted to do, but it just so happened I had like something that I was very much um, dreaming about this whole time. having my own business, and it actually was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I'd rather like focus on something that is going well, and then kind of
Yeah.
also like um, learn a lot. Yeah, the school has taught me quite a bit, and yeah, I don't think I'll be able to use much of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I also do a lot of like design and like
Mm-hmm.
woodwork and just building things
Yeah.
for as a hobby. So I can still use a lot of the software and a lot of the skills I've been picked up in the
Yeah.
meantime in my own personal life. And even at work, like I design a lot of things like um, menus, like little like signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's
We
pretty
we
cool.
laser cut all of these things just to kind of like throw in a little bit of our own like touch to it, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, like the once I graduate in August, like that's that. It's just I'll have more free time, I guess, with work.
that's super cool. I mean, me and Saul have always talked about how hard it is to start up a restaurant because like
Yeah.
those are hard to maintain. Like we're both from Islamabad, and over there, you see restaurants failing all the time. And I think it's super cool that you
Yeah.
guys from the start have been doing really well, and it seems like you have no plans of slowing
Exactly.
down. Have you got
Well,
like?
not
Yeah,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, there it comes with struggle too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the first year and a half was very difficult. I had a lot of colleagues in the food
Mm.
truck industry that also closed down.
Yeah.
What's actually around that time when they gave me the end of my 2 year contract, a another person approached me and said, "Hey, we're building a food truck park in town,"
Mm.
and they told me kind of where it was at, and they told me a little bit about this, and I made like I didn't even honestly I didn't have to think more than like 3 minutes. The answer was no. I just knew it would
Mm.
not work in College Station. And then unfortunately for them, they spent a lot of money like
Damn.
developing a food truck park that didn't even last maybe like 8 months,
Oh
and it's just an
wow.
abandoned lot now. Yeah, it closed down so quickly. Like no one was going out there. And they kept trying to like get me to come out there. It just it was not a
Yeah.
good idea. It was also not in like a great part of
I
town, and
totally get that.
yeah,
I totally get that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes you have to also look out for yourself and make some really good judgments,
Of
Yeah,
course.
that's
even
fair.
though it's yeah.
Of course. And I
Well,
think we're reaching time now. I think we've
yeah.
reached time.
So I think an interesting question for us to end on is just like if you were to put aside the whole identity of Mess Waffles and you were to start up any restaurant business, if you're choosing just as a hobby, not with the goal of making money, but just for the
Hmm.
sake of
Hmm.
doing something you like, what would it be? Would it still be Mess Waffles, or would you maybe experiment with some other type of food or something?
Yeah.
I know. I think baking and chocolate was my very first passion. Like I
Really?
love
Nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
baking. I make. I took. What's crazy is I used to live in Houston, and when I worked in Houston, I there was a community college in downtown, so I would take the train and go to the community college every Wednesday
Mm.
from 4 p.m. to 6:30,
Mm.
and they would teach a chocolate making class. So I learned over 14 weeks how to make like all these different chocolates, and
Nice.
so
That's amazing.
it's very yeah, it's very. There's actually another there's an Ismaili girl that owns a
Yeah.
chocolate place in Houston, and she's very successful. She has 2 locations,
Oh, that's crazy.
um, and yeah, so good for
Man,
her. But yeah, there
you're all
it's
killing it, man.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
yeah.
absolutely love
She's
chocolates. This
yeah.
is big news for me. I need to go back to Houston now for 14
Th-
weeks. Take that
this
course.
guy, Sanif, I don't know if you know this, but like this guy's parents practically own Islamabad's biggest chocolate supply, like, or the country's biggest.
Like,
Like, these guys serve the most exclusive chocolates in Pakistan.
yeah,
Wow.
I,
These
I
guys have
grew
a
up eating
store
chocolates. That's
that,
my entire life.
yeah,
It is
That's
like
crazy.
no
awesome.
other store in the
That's really
country.
awesome.
Like
Yeah.
no other store in the country serves this type of stuff that these guys serve. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they've kept it
Thank
up
you,
for
Saad.
20 plus years. Maybe more. How much? 35 plus years? 35ish years, right? I don't know how they've kept it up, but they've done it, man.
Yeah, it's been like probably longer than I've
That's
been alive for
crazy.
sure. But yeah, no, I have a huge like
Yeah.
passion for chocolate, and like as a kid, my goal was to
Hell
just
yeah.
try like every single type of chocolate I could ever get my hands on. I think for like a good 10 years, that's like all I spent my like extra money on. It was like, oh, a new chocolate bar, gotta eat it right now.
That's
Yeah.
just like me. Yeah. Have you tried to temper chocolate yourself and like play with
I
it
have
and
not.
stuff?
I've been wanting to do it, but like well, one, it's a bit expensive, and two, like just college has kept me really busy. But I feel like this would be a
Yeah.
good time for me to pick it up. Have you tried the new
You
Ruby
just need
cocoa chocolates that have been coming out?
no.
So they invented a new type of chocolate for the first time in like 80 years called Ruby Cocoa, and it's like this
That's like
brand
the.
new thing. So
I think I've
it's
seen them. I just haven't tried them. Yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of like it's pink in color, but it's more like
Mm-hmm.
it's
That's the
closer to
one. Yeah.
white chocolate than dark, but it's like kind of bitter at the same time. And like
Hmm.
I don't think
Interesting.
like they disclosed how they make it, but it's legally like one of the four types of chocolate in the world. You got milk, white, dark, and now you have ruby. So like definitely check that out.
Is he stopping for you as
They've
well?
started selling it in stores in the U.S. now. It is crazy. It's good,
Interesting. I'll have to look into that. That sounds good.
Yeah. All right. And on
but
that note, and
yeah.
on that bombshell, guys, I think we're done with today's podcast. We've had a great episode. I really enjoyed this story. I love entrepreneurial stories. You guys already know. And yeah, please hit that like and
Oh
subscribe
yeah.
button. It would really really mean a lot. Honestly, guys, we don't ask for much. Just hit those buttons, man. For God's sakes. And and follow us on
Yep.
Instagram for more
Like,
updates
subscribe, share
and
this with your
behind the scenes
friends.
looks. And Salman is going to be going
Yep.
on Instagram stories, and he's going to be cooking breakfast for you guys. All right, he's going to be making his world famous
I'm
omelets
not
that he's
gonna be
always
cooking
bragging about.
breakfast on Instagram
Yes, you
stories.
are. Yes, you
I'm
are.
out of
Yes, you
eggs.
are.
I don't have any
No,
eggs. I ran out of
I'll
cheese
get you
yesterday.
eggs.
We're gonna have to wait a while.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right,
thank you
guys.
all, and we'll see
Peace.
you on our next
Adios.
episode.
Goodbye.